Hey, it's your main man Tony from Brooklyn. And let me tell you two, three things about the best video game website I've ever come across in my entire life, okay? It's this place called GamersGather.com, alright? You're gonna want to go there to get all of the latest video game news on the planet first, alright?
Hello and welcome once again to the Forward Compatible Podcast. This is episode 124, part 1 for, what is it? June 22nd, 2014. My name is Tony. I'm joined as always by my fellow podcasters, Jason, Mark, and Monsieur Morrissey's back. Monsieur. Oh, he's French.
I'm so sorry for you.
Why? French?
Yeah.
Wow, that is all up in my face.
Yep. Right where it belongs.
I suppose we could kick off the show with our weekly round. Oh, you know what? Real quick. Clearly, we're not in the studio this week. We are lounging on Jason's couch. Jason flooded our fucking studio.
I did not.
He
Flooded?
flooded it.
How dare you?
No, it's under
When there's water in it, it's flooded.
It's flooded.
There's not water in it.
No, it's
on top of it.
We're doing a little construction down there, trying to get it even more sexy and a little more sound dampening and whatnot.
And other things.
And other things are happening that we're not talking about quite yet.
Magical things.
So
Ace, I told you, your opinion does not matter.
I'd
Welcome
like to
back
differ.
to the dogs.
Yeah, those are back. So
Racist.
Racist. So I suppose we could kick off the show with our weekly roundtable and catch up on what we've been playing since the last time we all spoke.
This is true. Because we haven't done it yet.
It's true.
I personally played a lot of Infamous Second Son. I actually beat it this week. And I liked it. It was actually my favorite of the three, with one being the best, second one being the third.
Worst in the franchise.
I'm doing that, what do they call it, the paper trail. We have to go to the website all the time. It's kind of neat, but you definitely have to have a computer next to you. It's not very mobile friendly from what I've seen. It's a lot of switching back and forth between screens. So, besides
Sounds like hot garbage.
I hate garbage. Besides that, Trials, because Trials, World of Tanks, and I think I played Wolfenstein at some point, and then I had to give it back to Hayes because Hayes wanted it in his pants.
Yeah, he came all the way to your work.
He
to
did.
retrieve it.
He did.
Chuck, what have you been playing, if anything?
What was that game I played? That zombie game on the PlayStation 4?
Dead.
Nation?
No, it's not Dead Nation. It's like
Dead
Zombie
Nation.
Apocalypse.
It's Dead Nation.
Is it Dead Nation?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, that game's been pretty fun. I recently downloaded a fan-made Dragon Ball fighting game, which is pretty cool.
Is it that one that looks like Street Fighter?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's pretty sweet.
Oh,
Pretty old school
nice.
in all the great ways.
Jason told you had a boner from that one.
Oh, yeah. It's right here.
Oh, that's
Very
pretty much
little.
it, man. A little bit of StarCraft. I like my StarCraft. Not too much.
Okay. I have been playing Mario Kart, Forza, and I also was playing a whole lot of Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, which I downloaded on the Wii U. Wii U's getting a lot of use here lately.
Good for you.
A lot of use lately.
It's an accident.
No, it's not.
So who's winning in Forza? We haven't even got an update
I mean,
yet.
if you want to be technical, I also did more Destiny and more Battlefield Hardline.
Should I still be playing? Should I still be excited about the Destiny?
I mean, it was cool.
Even though there's a wizard and he came from the moon.
Which Bungie turned into a shirt.
Yep, they already made the shirt. You can buy it. And they didn't say if they're going to re-record it or not. I hope they do. It's so
No,
awful.
I don't think they will.
I think you just leave it. That's awesome. It's the stuff of legend.
I mean, like I talked about it, I believe, last week. It's cool. It plays a lot like Halo.
Which is a good thing.
Halo
Yeah.
5.
If you're going to copy a game, copy one of the greatest games of all time.
And the game that you already made.
I think that's the hiccup for me is like, I played this from them already. That's what it feels like. You know, I was expecting something new and different, and I got more of the same with a Mass Effect skin on it this time around.
That's facts.
Which, again, not necessarily a bad thing, but, you know, I'm still kind of on the fence about it.
Yep. As for myself, not much. I did a little bit of the Luftrausers on the Vita. That game's awesome. And I did a little more Wolfenstein, doing a little cleanup there. And I started Spec Ops: The Line on the PS3 because I'm running out of room. And I already beat that on Xbox way back when. Loved that game. Felt enough times pass where I could play it again. And that's a nice little 15 gigs I can delete after I beat it. So, yeah, I'm doing that because I have a ton of games that I've had to put in. Yes, it's true. That I've had to put into the shopping cart that I haven't been able to download yet because I'm out of room.
Yeah, that's the worst part about PlayStation Plus. They just keep giving you free games and you don't have any room for them.
I don't care because they're all mine, you know. They're just not. It sucks when they're not all on your hard drive.
Right, and then
So-
it takes forever to download all of them.
I would say, you know, just up into a terabyte, but that's a pain in the ass, which we did last summer with mine.
No, it
It
wasn't
took
that big.
4 days for me to re-download all the stuff that I had.
What do you expect?
I could just
Well,
imagine
you could also transfer it to an external and then transfer it back, which is a
Yeah.
lot faster than
which we were
re-downloading.
trying to do, but it wasn't being
Yeah.
very friendly to us.
Yes.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Indubitably.
Indubitably.
News!
News!
Dirty, sexy, news.
So, starting off this week, post E3-ness, basically, Watch Dogs, some modder actually found the original, I guess, graphics that you would have seen from the 2013 E3, where it looked all beautiful and then got dumbed down to a lesser.
And it's
Pretty
actually, like, the files are listed as E3 2013.
There's that as well.
Yeah.
They literally just kept them in the game, meaning that most people download them and there's no freaking point, which is dumb.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, now I know there's a bit of controversy about it. People saying, you know, that Ubisoft purposely dumbed down Watch Dogs and so on and so forth.
I mean, I understand it,
But
but
when you dig a little bit deeper, you do find out that even though you can up the graphics and everything, it does tend to chug the gameplay a little bit. So, from their standpoint, it wasn't finished the way that they wanted to incorporate those graphics. So, I mean, at least they acknowledged it instead of
They
just ignored it.
so they basically could have done this in two different ways. Number one, get rid of those files in there because those are bigger than all the lower versions of it anyway, saving you on download time.
And they should have known better that somebody eventually would have found them.
There you go. Or number two, make it as your fantastic or maximum setting. Have it up on there.
And even if it wasn't ready, I mean, they could say, oh, well, you know what, there's a patch coming or whatever the case may be. We couldn't get it ready in time, but it's still coming.
Yeah.
Instead of just go, oh, well, it breaks the game.
Yeah. Would have been much better to, do one of those jobs.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Tony, do you care?
I can tell he doesn't.
Watch Dogs, not even a little.
Yeah.
No.
Nah, I didn't play it.
All right. This one will interest Tony in the pants. Lionhead actually announced they are working on a new game.
About fucking time.
Which version of
What'd they
Fable
take,
is
like 6 years off? It's supposed to be a non-Fable game. It's supposed to be a new IP.
Oh,
It's also supposed to be, right now, it's only 8 people actually making the game, too. So,
sweet.
very small team, to say the least. What it ends up being, we won't know probably for years down the line, but,
I was going to say it would be the Fable version of Castle Crashers, but they already did that poorly.
A little angry on that one?
No. I mean, we knew it was going to suck. Why do you keep looking at his crotch, Tony?
I've
I can't help his
beautiful
natural
images in my crotch.
his natural bulge just draws my eyes to. He's got his phone right there. I was just seeing what the next story was.
Starting this upcoming week, you'll be able to preload games on your PS4, starting with Transformers, not the best to lead off with, probably. But it's something, and I'm sure I'll take advantage of it sometime in the
Those
future.
Transformer games are getting kind of cool. They're not like the greatest games ever, but they're fun.
I'm actually like I really didn't know that there was a Transformers game coming out.
Oh, this thing flew
Yeah.
so under the radar.
It did. I didn't know it was coming out, but
You know,
if just as cool as the last one.
if you were in a similar boat as Jason, because you didn't know what games are coming out this week, you can always check out the Pixel Report.
What is that?
It's released every Sunday or Monday morning, depending on when we record.
Hmm.
And then it throws off the entire rest of the schedule for the week. And stuff comes out on Thursdays and Saturdays, and
You done goofed.
it happens.
Next story.
Yeah. Preloading, cool. You know, I don't buy full retail at digital because it has no
Me
trade-in
neither.
value and it's not much cheaper.
Yeah.
Cheaper at all.
Huh?
Or cheaper at all, most of the time.
Yeah,
No,
it's not,
no.
it's
If you
usually the same
pre-order them,
price
they give you like $6 or $7 off, don't they?
Sometimes.
Yeah, it depends on the game.
Like if you pre-order it, they'll
Like
give
right
you
now,
like.
Call of Duty is $60 to buy.
Well, that's Call of Duty. Like Wolfenstein was like 53 if you wanted to do it. It's just no point because I work at a video game retailer, so I get it for around that price anyway. And I'd rather have the actual disc that I can trade in if I so choose to.
Yeah.
Whereas digital, it is yours. There's no complaints or trading in or anything.
Yep.
Which is why they should be significantly
actually-
cheaper.
Just scared the shit out of myself after I said about throwing the whole schedule off. I'm like, did I post part 2 this week? So I had to go check.
Yeah.
You did.
I did, but I scared myself that I didn't.
Yeah, it's all right.
Puppy got his balls cut off. It's been a rough week.
Well, that's an interesting story.
Speaking of interesting stories,
Yeah.
Tony got
Next
his
one,
balls
we
cut.
have the world's largest video game collection sold for $750,000 this week. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, the guy from Guinness actually got nominated saying, you have the largest video game collection in the world. And immediately taking advantage of that, which was probably the best time he could have ever done it, put it up on eBay. And
I'm just wondering, did he have Battletoads?
there had to be a Battletoads.
Multiple.
I know there was 2 or 3 games that were considered pretty darn rare from way back, from like Japanese only releases and everything. But other than that, they don't really know who bought them because it's just eBay, just his username.
Yeah.
Enjoy your room full of games.
Apparently, the person who bought it had a 0 feedback score.
Oh,
So I heard that they were doing some sort of investigation or something going on before the sale actually went final.
well, yeah, probably because it's so much money.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure it's legit,
It's a big deal.
quite legit.
eBay's going to make some bank off that, off their percentages.
Yeah,
Is it like
few $1,000
Doing nothing.
doing nothing, providing a service.
Mm.
Yeah. Anyway, last story for the week that I got for you. Sony kind of, sort of announced that there's going to be less first-party titles coming on the PlayStation Vita after this next batch.
Of whatever's in
Well,
development that we don't know about.
Mm-hmm. Will they ever come out with another first-person game after that, or is this kind of like the end of Vita already?
I think they're hoping that PlayStation Now takes care of it. But we'll see. Because then... And the cross-play with the PS4, because you can essentially just play your PS4 games on your Vita, but
It doesn't work
I still
out that
think...
well,
well, some games do, some don't.
though. Mm-hmm. I know, that's the point, though. It's not like 100%, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what comes out. I mean, there's been a little bit of a spike lately going on in the last couple months with Vita sales, so hopefully it keeps growing and there's more of an incentive to make more games for it. I know they're fully behind the PS4 now. That thing's making a ton of money, so they're going to want to put
the
all
other part of that is the Borderlands bundle just recently released, and
the
they're
redesign.
gone. They're gone.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't notice this because I'm on a smaller scale. Like at my store, we haven't had a new Vita in months,
Yeah.
which was affecting the sales number. We weren't even able to sell one because we weren't restocking because of the new model. So for months, we couldn't even. I had people coming in. I'm not making it sound like I had 100 people
I had 2 people come in
wanting them.
and ask me,
Yeah.
"Do you have the Borderlands bundle?" Because apparently, like on eBay, they're going for like $350.
really?
Yeah,
No, I'm saying before the
Yeah.
remodel even happened, we didn't have any.
yeah, I know. No,
To
I
offer.
Yeah.
And I had a person every couple weeks. I don't work that much there. A person every couple weeks coming in looking to buy a brand new Vita, and we just couldn't even offer it to them. And now that they're restocked, there's a big surge.
Yeah, but that restock is gone.
Gone.
It's disappeared again, and there's no reallocations either, which is kind of scary.
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. There is some pent up demand, not a ton, but
Yeah.
I mean they're not.
Enough to provide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see.
I wonder if it's got to do with that Vita PS4 bundle.
Maybe they're saving. They're holding them back for that or something.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. I hope the little thing sells some more. I mean, there's a ton of games. I mean, there's a game coming out every week on the Vita.
Yeah.
But people don't like it. They don't get
Yeah,
it.
as much as you guys are busting my chops about it, they even, and you can look it up, took the Vita name off of the streaming device that's coming out here in
The Vita
US
TV,
fall.
yeah.
Yeah. Which is not known as the Vita TV.
It's actually the Vita
The
TV.
Vita
Yeah,
TV.
it's the TV.
It is. It's the Vita TV in
I will
Japan.
only buy it if it says Vita TV.
Well, then it
Oh,
looks like
not
you're
sale.
not buying.
It's like you're buying a Japanese.
Sony lost the sale.
Yeah.
How many millions of people just lost the sale?
Which, Tony, which I told you I would. I pre-ordered it.
Good for you.
The $130 one.
With
It's
the
not a bad
controller.
deal. Not a bad deal.
$25 deposit.
Cool.
Was it? Have any of you guys had experience with PlayStation Now yet?
I have. I'm in the beta.
What'd you think?
It worked really, really well, but I have really good internet.
Okay.
I forgot I was playing on the internet.
Oh, nice.
It's cool because it's the same thing because it like preloads a little. So there's like a load period, but it's only like 15 seconds. But it's the same thing like if you were playing on a disc and it was loading off the disc.
Gotcha.
So it like pre-caches a little,
Mhm.
and then you start playing. Given I didn't play any like crazy twitchy first-person shooters or anything that required
That's where people were running into
a ton of
issues with
resources,
it.
but the games I played ran really, really well, and I could see it working very well for story-based single-player games that involve campaigns.
And that's
I don't think it'll support Battlefield or COD or anything like that.
No. Did
Um,
you see that they actually put prices up for that?
I did.
It was like $199 for like
4 hours.
Yeah, like a 1 for 30-day and 90-day trial or something like that.
Mhm.
And sometimes a 90-day trial is literally the cost of the game at
Yep.
a retail store,
Yep.
which is in beta, so I can forgive.
And Sony also acknowledged it, and they're going to adjust it.
Yeah.
So I don't think it'll be that expensive. I'm more curious about the. See, the problem is they haven't mentioned this since they initially debuted PlayStation Now or announced it, because first they said that rental was one part of it,
Yeah.
and that there was also going to be a monthly fee where you could stream, and that's what was always the big draw to me. Is like, can I give you $7 or $8 a month
Mhm.
and have like a Netflix queue of like 10 or 15 games that stick around for 3 months and then they slowly shuffle out?
Right.
That's what I want. I don't want here's $10, let me borrow this game for a week. That's stupid. I get to borrow games from work for free.
Right.
I'll never utilize any of that. The thing that was big to me was that constant revolving door of 15 or maybe 20 or 30 games or whatever it was.
I was personally looking forward to some of the, again, like old games that were just single player at that point and buying them off the service, which I haven't seen much about.
That was another thing they said, is you'll be able to buy games off
Yeah,
it.
and because a rental, again, like it's one of those things. If I'm going to buy like Ratchet and Clank 3, I'm going to play it, beat it. I'm going to try it a year down the line. I still want to be there. I don't want to re-rent it just for the sake of playing it again.
You want to own them forever.
I
You want
own
them
them forever.
Yeah, and that's why they have something really cool in their hands, but it's going to depend on how they actually release it, because they might be this might just be the beta for the little rental portion. There still could be the buy it forever thing, kind of like where it's locked into your account, like if you're
Like
on
Steam.
iOS or Steam or Android, where it's yours forever. You keep upgrading accounts or
Phones.
devices, and the stuff is always there for you. As opposed to how it was like on PS3, where we're essentially losing all those unless you hang on to PS3, because now it's streamed. So your Vita should be able to play it, your TVs, your
Yep.
PS4, when the PS5 comes out. If the Vita has a successor, you have all that stuff ready to play the games that you bought.
Mhm.
Then you could look forward to sales, or you could pick games up for $2-3 and own them forever on all of your future devices. There's a lot of cool promise, but
That streaming service definitely it has to, because when I experienced the remote play, I definitely experienced lag in the game I was playing. I was doing Resogun and I tried NBA which I know aren't probably the best, but it's just what I have at the time.
Razogun is not a good game to try something like that on.
No,
That game
definitely
is very Twitch-based shooter-ish.
Yeah, and those they didn't hold up, so it really is gonna, factor into what plays well on the streaming service and what you're even going to repurchase because of that.
Yeah, you're going to have to pick and choose the proper types of games. Like, the thing I spent the most time with on PlayStation Now was Catherine, which is perfect for that sort of thing. It's a single-player campaign. It's not very fast-moving.
No.
It's more story-based, and it's a lot of fun. And that kind of stuff is killer. It's what PlayStation Now will accelerate at. I don't see them, doing military shooters or any shooters, really.
Yeah, 'cause I did try Battlefield with the remote play, and that was interesting. It's hard without the extra buttons.
Mhm.
But
Did it
There
at least
was lag
play? Okay, lag, yeah.
oh,
And one of the things I know it's very techy, but one of the big things that could help the streaming service out would be AC network spectrum, but none of the devices even support it, so it's not even going to take advantage of the speed that would minimize your lag.
Snorkel.
Exactly.
Flange,
Exactly.
you're the best.
Yes. Maybe in a few years. Maybe.
Now it's stuck in his head. Now he's going to do it like 17 times throughout the episode.
Yes.
Next news story.
More news.
That was all I
What's that?
had. It was that on the PlayStation. It was going to be that on the TV. I mean, I can do how you had the.
We were going to talk about a little something that's going on right now on the PCs.
Oh yeah, Steam sale. I did forget about that one. Steam sale started.
Kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal.
Just, I mean,
I already bought
that
2
little,
games.
that little niche corner of the universe that they call themselves PC gamers.
Master Race.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started. I bought 2 games off it. I bought Pixel Piracy and BattleBlocks Theater. Actually, I played both those, which I didn't mention.
Ah,
Yeah.
BattleBlocks.
Anyway, so basically every day you'll put up new games. You have 48 hours to buy them, and they are severely reduced. Nearly most of the store is already at a percentage off, 33 to maybe 25% off,
66.
whatever. When it goes on the daily deals, the daily special, what you want to do is buy it on that specific day because you're probably going to save an extra $5-10 because it'll probably be 66 to 75% off. One of the omissions from there is Rust, which is one game I would buy, and that is not on sale whatsoever. It's the game that
Could
the
it be
guys.
coming up?
I don't know. It's strange
A
because the game. Okay, so they make Gary's Mod, the guys who do Rust, which basically
Oh, God,
is almost.
Don't talk about it. You're gonna break the. You're gonna.
Yeah,
break
I know. I'm gonna break the
you're gonna
internet.
break the forward compatible universe.
Yeah. So basically, Gary's Mod was almost like a first-person mod at what it is what it's considered now, and they essentially took the entire team in, and then they made this game as kind of like a second party. I don't really know what their relationship is anymore, but it has not gone on sale once since being in beta. So it's kind of a surprise not to see at least maybe $4 or $5 off.
So, what everybody out there can do, like Yost just got on Steam and everything like that. We know we got a couple of Steam loyals. In the comment section, tell us what you guys bought.
There you go.
Tony, are you buying stuff? on
He's
Steam
actually
right now?
logging into his Steam account.
I'm looking what's on sale right now.
Yeah.
Checking things out, things and
We'll
stuff.
do a Steam wallet comparison at the end, too. Ends the 30th of June, which is actually, I think is the earliest they've ever done the Steam sale starting, because usually it starts in July. So, whatever. What are you going to do?
The best.
You buy that. Buy BattleBlocks too. Buy BattleBlocks. We'll play BattleBlocks together.
Slap you.
Well, is that news then?
That's basically news.
Okay.
News.
We have, as we told you guys, we're slowly switching around formats and things. So, no questions this week.
Yeah,
Because Jason flooded the studio with all your
Dylan
questions.
is going to be on part 2, recapping our E3 predictions. So there'll be enough BS to go around.
Yes.
So no
Yeah.
BS facts this week.
Yeah.
But
because we're switching everything up. This will be the first or last, or however you want to handle it, with smaller, more bite-sized Tony's topics of the week that are coming in part 1.
this will be the first one. Then.
The first one, the
Last.
inaugural.
Yeah.
Because part 2, we're doing something different in a week or two. So
Next week.
okay.
Episode 125.
So
Yeah, 200. Got it.
Tony's Top of the League. Okay. So
Worst in the franchise.
Worst in the franchise. So we had this little company, this little startup that I don't know if you guys ever heard of, Capcom.
No.
Yeah, one of the
Kickstarter?
startup, a small Kickstarter startup company that
Indiegogo?
barely anybody's ever heard of. They don't have a lot in their portfolio. Decided
Not worth a whole lot.
not worth a whole lot. Actually, I think that's actually kind of true. I don't think they really are. They decided during one of their investor meetings that they were not going to keep a fence up around a potential buyout. In layman's terms, someone could come in. The only people with enough money to buy enough shares would probably be a company, some kind of corporation,
Not Tony.
or a private party can if they have the capital. But if somebody was to come in and buy 51% of the available shares,
Game is gathered.
they would essentially own Capcom and all of its subsidies. This could be quite the game changer. Capcom was a huge powerhouse in the 80s and 90s and has some of the most storied franchises in third-party history, but they made a lot of terrible decisions over the course of the last decade,
Sega?
ruining huge franchises.
Like Resident Evil
Post Resident Evil
with
4, yeah.
Resident Evil 6.
So Resident Evil 6 was their mighty comeback.
No, not at all.
They had, they didn't want to renew, or not renew, but what's his face with Mega Man. So he went and kickstarted his own game, and that's why we're getting Mighty number 9. Yeah. And, Street Fighter is probably their only thing right now that people still care about.
Which is surprising.
Resident Evil could
And all the
grab
crossover games.
Resident Evil can grab everyone back if they go back to what they're supposed to be doing. But they have a ton of IPs that are just sitting there ripe for the taking.
You know what the interesting, before you jump into it, and it just dawned on me again, plugging one of our local places that we go, Galloping Ghost, today is starting Capcom Week.
Are they?
It's a week-long Capcom.
Oh, they know
tournament.
about Capcom?
Yeah. Yeah, the Galloping Ghost is buying Capcom. There it is. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there because it just dawned on me, and that's where I'm going later tonight.
Are you?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You
Going to play in the Capcom tournament.
Oh.
dick cheese.
Yep. So,
Anyway, so there's a lot of wild speculation.
on the internet?
On the
Wild
internet,
speculation?
people are making guesses and throwing their opinions out there. It's crazy talk.
Wait, is
so
that
we're going
what
to do the
part
exact
two's
same
all
thing. Huh?
Is that what part 2 is all about? Entirely? Throwing
Right,
opinions onto the
speculation.
internet?
Yes.
Just checking.
So some of the initial stuff was that Microsoft would be looking at them, and that they would be one of the smarter matches. I do want to throw this out there that right after that, some legal mumbo jumbo came out, and this would have to be approved, from what I understand, through the Japanese government. It's technically illegal, but there are workarounds, and it's also traded on the U.S. market, which makes it even easier for Microsoft to acquire.
So it's technically illegal?
Under Japanese law.
Do we know why? I mean,
It's under Japanese law, but not illegal. Japan doesn't want any Japanese company owned out from a company outside of Japan. But there are loopholes, and the Japanese government can approve it. Now, this is just what I read and heard. I don't know if this is factually true or not, and it's all under Japanese law. It has nothing to do with Americans.
I think he just agreed with you.
So there are workarounds if Microsoft was to be interested, that they can actually do it. People figure to be the smartest match because Microsoft would triple their studios and expand their portfolio tenfold if they were able to acquire the Capcom licenses.
Sure, Microsoft is a great, but there's this other Japanese company that's had a long-standing history with Capcom.
We're gonna get into that next. We're talking about Xbox.
Okay, I didn't know how we were
yeah.
playing this out. Okay, so you want thoughts on Xbox?
Yes.
No.
Not gonna happen.
No,
You don't think it'll happen, or you don't think they should?
I don't think they should.
Okay. Why not?
With the exception of Resident Evil, everything else in Capcom's library is too kid-friendly.
You got 1942.
Yeah, they could bring that back. But I mean, like, I'm sure I'm missing a couple, like Devil May Cry and stuff like that. But generally, I don't see it as a fit. Like, they're a little too Japanesey for Microsoft.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but Microsoft's just about to make that big push into the Japanese and Chinese markets
do you mean
because
how-
they're going to be first into China.
Do you mean how Microsoft went out and announced that that in Japan you can pick up Destiny this fall, and then it was announced that it's a PlayStation exclusive in
Yep.
Japan?
Did that really
Yep.
happen?
Yeah.
It really happened. They didn't know.
Yeah.
They said you can play. You can, in Japan, you can get Destiny, and then that week it was announced in Japan it is a Sony exclusive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, also take into account that Street Fighter, besides whatever NetherRealm was doing, Street Fighter is the dominant fighting game.
Well, we're talking about a 2-horse race nowadays. with
And
rankings.
NetherRealm's third party,
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So what power would this give Microsoft if they were the go-to fighting game? Just the tournaments and stuff that go on, and professional and smaller.
Yeah.
If Xbox was the official platform, because anything NetherRealm
Better
can be
do something
played
about that damn controller.
both places, and it'd be the only place to play Street Fighter.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get that. I just like, in my mind, they don't click. I guess, and I can't really describe it any better than
No,
that.
it's a Western. You know, they
Yeah.
make their own Western games. They don't appeal to the audience in North America, and there are a few that come over. A vast majority do not.
Yeah.
That Capcom puts out, they will never see stateside. So you would basically be outsourcing
Which the,
to the states
Tony
to
was
make
saying,
it.
that is beneficial to Microsoft.
It also wouldn't
Yeah.
stay that way.
But-
When Microsoft's at the helm, all that little weird Japanese stuff would get canceled, probably.
Yeah, but
No,
look
that
at-
would stay as Japan exclusives, just like Microsoft is doing now.
They
There's, what,
sell in Japan.
13 games coming out that are Eastern market exclusives that we'll never see here
Yeah,
from
but-
Microsoft.
I mean, just think about Devil May Cry, Xbox exclusive. Mega Man, Xbox exclusive. Street Fighter, Xbox
But look at
exclusive.
the way Capcom's been going with franchises like Devil May Cry and Resident Evil. They're
Dead
trying to
Rising?
make
Is
it
that
more.
Capcom?
Yeah, Dead
Dead
Rising.
Rising?
Yes.
Mhm.
They
Xbox exclusive.
are trying to make it more Western.
Yeah.
So, based on that, you could see Microsoft possibly
Showing them how to.
Right.
Now, I've been trying to sell Microsoft as good as I can, but I'm going to switch my own shit around and play devil's advocate here.
Mhm.
Why I don't think it's a good idea for Microsoft. Minus the actual IP acquisitions, I think this is terrible. And Microsoft knows it. They're a very business savvy, very smart company. And out of the 3 console producers, I think they're the only one who can easily afford it. I'll get into the other 2 later, but this is nothing to Microsoft financially. They could buy this and it's just like a penny in their pocket.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? The problem is, look at Capcom's financials. The whole reason they need to be acquired is they are in serious financial trouble right now. And Microsoft is not going to buy them to take on a financial burden, if you will.
Mhm.
They're not going to go buy into something that's hemorrhaging money at the moment, which Capcom is, or they wouldn't be trying to be saved from somebody. I also don't like the thought of Capcom going to one company in particular. I would rather, and I'll get into this in more depth later once we knock out the big 3. I'd rather like an EA or an Activision,
Yeah, we'll touch base.
and
on that.
I'll get into that later.
I've got some ideas for that.
But as for Microsoft, I think out of the 3 console manufacturers, they make the most sense because of the IP acquisition that they could desperately need. But aside from that,
I'm
and
gonna
putting
throw some curveballs at you here in a second.
go ahead.
Well, no, finish your thought so we can.
But aside from the IP acquisition and possibly some big studio heads and some of the talent that's spread throughout Capcom, I don't see much of a point. You're just killing yourself. You're funding a drowning company at this point. But if anyone can do it and not really feel the pains, it'd be Microsoft, and it'd be cool for them to just overnight pick up 50 exclusive IPs just like that.
I disagree with you there about Microsoft feeling the pain the least out of everybody by taking a hit. Because, I mean, yeah, Microsoft, you're looking at the Xbox brand. That's making them money. You look at what they're doing with the computer side, with Windows 8, how big of a fiasco that's been. You know, they just come out with the Surface 3. We really don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah, but do you look at Microsoft's reports ever?
Mm-mm.
Microsoft can buy Sony and Nintendo tomorrow and still have billions of dollars of cash on hand. They can just outright buy the competition if they want. Microsoft is one of the richest companies in the entire world.
Okay.
Xbox, if anything, is the one that's kind of dragging them down. I know they're not the force that they were because I think Apple's up to like 20% of home computer usage, which it never exceeded like 5 or 6% back in the day,
Right.
which is why Microsoft essentially had a monopoly, but Apple's chipping away at it, but they're still the dominant force. Just those, whatever they're called, I wish Brian was here for this, those things that they have like with like Sears, you know what I mean? Where like
their OS systems,
Like
and
their
stuff
enterprise.
that.
they like license the rights out for decades at a time, where like no matter what, Sears is never going to switch from their Windows, and that's just one company. You know what I mean? And then there's like Target or whatever, all those things that are on, and every year there's like licensing fees, and they're just raking it in. The home use is like nothing
Gotcha.
compared to like Ford and Chevrolet and them all buying Microsoft every year. I don't know. It's ridiculous how much money they have.
Okay.
They wouldn't even feel it. But go ahead.
Okay, so my thought was Nintendo.
Okay. You want to move on to them next?
Yeah, we'll do them next. Because I think they're going to be the polar opposite of Microsoft, and then Sony will fall somewhere in the middle. Nintendo is obviously, they have their first party things pretty well taken care of. They know what to do with their first party properties. There's just not enough. We've talked about it in great lengths. There's too many gaps in their releases to make them a viable.
The recently retired Bill Gates, or stepped down from complete. See, he's like a smaller guy now.
He's just an advisory now.
Him alone is worth just shy of $4 trillion.
Yeah.
Just Bill Gates.
I know.
So, just want to throw that out there. And that was as of January of 2014.
So
Just one dude within Microsoft.
the way that I think that Capcom and Nintendo would mesh well is they have history there. Resident Evil 4 was launched on the GameCube, along with the remakes and everything. So they've already worked together in the past. But one thing that Nintendo is severely lacking is more appeal to mature gamers, which they would get with Devil May Cry and Resident Evil. And it would be a seamless integration for their other properties like Mega Man and so on to fit into the Nintendo mindset, I think.
So you think Nintendo makes the most sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
It would give Nintendo the edge with some great mature games. Because like Bayonetta is not doing anything for them.
No, it's
realistically.
not.
But now if Nintendo, like back in the day, like nobody gave a shat about GameCubes. But then as soon as Resident Evil, I was working retail at that time, GameCubes blew up. For a year, you could only play Resident Evil 4 on GameCube.
Here's my issue with Nintendo. Minus the Wii, their trajectory for home console sales continually declines. The GameCube only sold like 20 million, and there's like 5 million Wii U's. So for them, Capcom doesn't make sense because Capcom's struggling when they sell 7 or 8 million across all three platforms, or both platforms, because sadly Capcom stuff doesn't come to Nintendo very often. It's too violent. Like Devil May Cry and stuff. Like on the GameCube, the last hardware that was actually comparable power-wise to the rest of the generation was the last time that Resident Evil was able to be handled on a Nintendo platform. If if you look at like the Wii and the Wii U, they're completely skipping it with Dead Risings or Devil May Cry or
Dead Rising was on the Wii.
Eh.
Dead Rising.
No,
that
it
wasn't
was
Dead
chopped
Rising.
off.
That was a bullshit one.
Yeah, it was. Like
And that's
on
the
rails.
problem is Nintendo would be handcuffing Capcom with their weaker hardware.
And you also have to figure.
And they're losing money right now selling to all the platforms. So imagine if they're selling 5 or 6 million copies of Resident Evil 6 sold 7 million and was considered a failure. There's not even 7 million Wii U's. If they had 100% attach rate, there's not.
Worse than failure.
It'd be worse exactly, and it'd be even worse off.
I don't care about any of that. I'm just talking about like integrating the products. I really don't. I mean, that's where I come from.
Okay.
Capcom is a hard sell for I think most companies, considering taking into effect all of their IPs. Most of them, review-wise, Metacritic score have been going down, and they don't have much to provide. To yeah, because he loves Metacritic. Yeah. But they don't have much to provide to a console, and especially one that is already struggling on its own. It wouldn't make sense for Nintendo to even try to get into them.
I think people are like wanting for Nintendo, because I saw that in a lot of comments, because people are like, yeah, Mega Man, Nintendo exclusive. You're forgetting about the other 99% of the IPs they own, which don't mesh with Nintendo at all.
No.
I don't know. I don't.
What's the other 99%?
Do you want me to pull up a list?
Devil May Cry.
Keep vamping, gentlemen.
Rising.
Well, those are the huge ones, and already those two do not go on Nintendo. I don't think, but
I mean, heck, Bayonetta was a shock.
Resident Evil has done well in the past on
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo.
Yeah,
Street Fighter,
Street Fighter,
5,
I
6,
Ultra Street Fighter, Super Street
Raccoon
Fighter,
City,
Street Fighter
and those
Ralph.
like garbage.
I'm not even talking about the spin-offs. I'm referring to like Zero remake.
oh, this
One,
isn't
two,
even
you know,
this
two,
isn't even fun.
Let's see. I'm just curious. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
I
trying to
went through
think
the
of,
list.
like,
Oh my god,
outside of
this
like
is huge. I'm just looking for big games. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
Monster Hunter would be their.
Yes.
Oh,
gem
that would
right
work
now.
out really
I
well
was
with
gonna,
Nintendo.
I'm like, wait, you're gonna argue Monster Hunter's not gonna work out for you?
But let's go back to
Lost
let's go
Planet.
back to Microsoft real quick. How much would that help them in the Japanese territory?
But it makes more sense for Nintendo because they're all crazy about the portables.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
Monster
that's-
Hunter on
yeah.
the portables.
But that would also help with Sony, which we should get to soon.
Yes.
I'm just going through the big
Yeah,
ones.
no, I'm trying to.
Asura's Wrath, Bionic Commando is pretty big. All of its iterations. Wow, I'm skipping a lot.
They had a lot. Capcom's put out a lot.
Wow,
of
this is big,
garbage.
dude. I'm scrolling like crazy.
It's only the C section.
I'm only in C's.
Then they have the collections they used to throw together of all the old games. Those were on 360, I think.
Capcom collections.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of them were
PSP. PS2.
Yeah.
Even
Something
a couple
like
on the GameCube.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is big.
So,
Chop Till You Drop was the Wii game.
Yeah.
Crappy spinoff.
Essentially.
Ooh, Dino Crisis. Fuck yeah, I forgot they made that shit, dude. That needs a fucking reboot, dude.
No.
Anyway, I'm not going to do this. This is way too big. This is ridiculous. Yeah, I think it's safe to say it's less than 99% is Mega Man.
No,
I just scrolled through 100 games just through D.
Fit
Yeah. Yeah, so Nintendo. It could make sense for some things. Monster Hunter. I think anyone who buys it is smart for the Monster Hunter aspect. The other thing is, unfortunately, Capcom's not doing a fire sale because I think it'd be a lot easier to pick apart
Are we THQing this?
five. Yeah,
Are we THQing this?
That's really all you really want
Is
at
that
this
what's going
point.
to happen?
Yeah, to be
Are
like,
we predicting?
There's too much junk in there for people to want to buy it all outright.
Are we predicting the downfall of Capcom here now?
so.
Jeez.
Let's hop into the Sonys real quick then. What do we think about Sony acquiring it?
Better than Microsoft. You know, they would at least know how to market
To
to
Japan?
Japan. Yeah, that so I think they would integrate fairly well. I still say it'd be better. Like Microsoft has no clue what to do over in Japan. They haven't been able to break in what 10 years, 15 years now. Oh, wow, when did Xbox?
It's been 12 or 13.
Okay. So, and they still haven't been able to make a dent over there?
Even a little one.
Monster Hunter would help.
Sony would be able to market it better, though. That's the thing. Like, over there, you can't touch them.
Sony, for me,
Just think about handhelds at Sony. What that would do for it.
The Vita.
the Vita over there would
I mean,
explode just from
that's
Monster
what I'm
Hunter.
saying.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons the PSP was so big. Just for that.
I think Sony would actually be, minus that helping the Vita, might be one of the worst options out of the big three. They have too much, and they've showed that they can't control it all by all the studio closures that have had. They kept acquiring first parties. They were buying up all these small studios,
Yep.
and over the course of the last 3 years, they've closed like 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
Little Big Games got closed, Zipper got closed, so on and so forth. I can't even remember them all right now because they were so overstretched by how many first parties they had, and overseeing them all, and the quality dips a little bit. So acquiring another whatever Capcom owns is not going to help unless they did one of those type of things where it's like, well, we're your new boss, but we know you guys can make your own shit, so we're just going to be a silent partner, like
Not when you're putting out that kind of money, though.
Well, what does Capcom own in terms of studios? Of course, they have their own internal studio. Now, I don't know what small studios they may have,
I'm not that in depth with them.
but let's just say it's just Capcom for now, because you know how a bunch of studios work together on shit. You know, you have Sony Santa Monica that can work on stuff. You have Naughty Dog. I mean, Insomniac, yeah, they're making games for both people, but still.
15 looks like it.
Okay.
That's I don't know.
Yeah, that's
I don't
a-
think they can watch it all, man.
Yeah, that's-
Sony couldn't watch their own 15 companies. The other problem is Sony, especially after that $400 acquisition of what's now becoming PlayStation Now, they're the most strapped for cash.
Yeah.
They're the ones that can least afford it.
Yeah.
Nintendo's somewhere in the middle. Yeah, they have the storied war chest, which has been getting dipped into as of late. So it's not as big as it once was, but it's still really big. They can afford Capcom. I don't know.
I don't know. I like Sony.
I do too. I don't think it.
So then now we're going to talk
In
about...
total, they have 17, including some of them are movie studios.
Capcom?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Capcom Pictures.
Good for them.
Those are the guys that made the anime Resident Evil.
Yeah.
So now we're going to jump into who outside of the big three really
Yes.
quick. I think there's one obvious choice, and that's Disney.
Him and his Disney or Apple
I don't like
predictions.
Disney,
They're the ones that actually make the most sense because
too.
they're as flush as Microsoft is, where it's a drop in the bucket. They're like $100 million. It's like, okay, it's nothing.
Yeah, and then that puts
Make that back
all
up the next
those-
Frozen.
all those phenomenal IPs in Disney's pocket, and Disney more than anybody can market the shit out of anything.
Think of all the tie-ins with the Disney movies.
Think about Halloween, right? And they turn Disney World into Raccoon City, things like that.
No, they do, because Disney actually had a very violent game come out, and they put their name nowhere on it. I forget the name of it at this point.
Yeah, they use the other
They put
player, whatever.
yeah, but it was Disney, but they put their name nowhere on it. Do you think they would do something like that with some of their more violent games?
They would probably still use like Capcom, and then just like turn the O into the fucking Mickey Mouse or something stupid like that.
I think financially, Disney makes a ton of sense, but they've been really spend crazy lately throughout Marvel and now LucasArts.
What else do they need?
I don't know how much. I know that company is loaded, but how much more money can they just have just sitting around?
Probably of multi-billions. Still.
And
My understanding is if they wanted to buy Warner Brothers and DC tomorrow, it'd be like nothing to them.
that's
Because
fucking
obviously
nuts,
there's a big
man.
comic book debate.
The other thing is,
like Disney could just go, okay, we own Batman.
the other thing is, I don't know how crazy Disney is going to be about trying to get back into the video game world, which
Yeah.
would be the only holdoff
Yeah.
because Lucas what are they called?
LucasArts.
LucasArts. It's completely gone. They're just like, we don't want to do this video game thing anymore unless it's an easy cash in like
Yeah.
Disney Infinity.
Battlefront would have been that is an easy cash in no matter how bad it is.
Yeah.
There's too much nostalgia on
But
that game.
again, they could theoretically acquire
And just stay out of it and leave.
Capcom, stay out of it, and just
Start raking in
like
money.
what Disney doesn't touch Marvel.
They leave them do their
Let
thing.
them do their thing. They go, you guys know what you're doing. We just want a piece
The
of the pie."
financial backing, and they collect the money. Yeah.
And then they go, all right, well, now we're going to have Marvel characters at our theme parks, and our one game that we have is going to have Marvel characters.
Which is what I was trying to say with what I thought Microsoft would do with them, because they don't know how to market to Japan.
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean,
But
Six Flags
Capcom
have to pay
does.
Disney.
You know,
It's a
and,
Superman ride.
and then, of course, I'm going to say the
They'd be
default.
grandfathered in, I think.
I'm going to say the default
What's
answer
up?
that I say to everything every time one of these things that come up that somebody could buy them out. And
Apple.
you mentioned them earlier is Apple. And they've been toying with breaking into the video game market. Well, why not have them break in instead of trying to compete with Microsoft and Sony? Have them be a third-party publisher.
Yeah. Yeah, Disney,
And
Apple.
you just take the O and turn it into an apple.
I still don't think
Apple-
Apple jumping into games will be anything near future.
Apple's too smart of a company. It's the same reason I don't think Microsoft's going to bite on them, because they're on a downward trajectory. Apple's smart. That's why they acquired Beats. It's a big thing. Apple and Microsoft don't get that rich and that huge and that famous by making
yeah.
bad decisions. And from the bottom of my heart, I feel bad saying this. The acquisition of Capcom, unless you completely turn everything around, is a bad.
Or
It's
if
financially irresponsible.
Or if you buy bits and pieces, which is I think how it ended up breaking down.
Or they have to buy it and sell off stuff
Yeah,
that they don't.
Dead
That
Rising
they have
makes
no
money.
interest. Just
Street
sell
Fighter, make you money.
sell crap off.
Resident Evil, if you cut the budget for them, can still make money.
So I don't know, man.
Instead of cutscenes every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So
To
you
me,
have Capcom Pictures.
to me, the company that would, a third-party publisher who's already involved in video gaming, would make the most sense would actually be Activision. Activision is very, very rich and very, very powerful, but
I
it's
think they have said
also
at least $1 billion or $2 billion.
it's also very, very reliant on just a few IPs. Call of Duty, Skylanders, stuff like that. Activision makes an awful lot of games, but a lot of them don't make a lot of money. And Activision's also notorious for closing studios that are profitable. They're just not profitable enough. And Activision, if you only make a couple $1 million for them a year, considers you a
Drop in the
burden.
bucket.
Yeah.
And they will close you. The guys who made Prototype, that happened exactly. Both those games made money.
Even,
They just didn't make enough money.
even the Guitar Hero franchise was on a decline, but they were still, doing really well. They shuttered them.
And
God, they closed down.
Activision doesn't have a whole lot, but they're a very powerful company, and they are a marketing machine.
We're talking about Activision or Activision Blizzard?
Robomoto, I don't know if they're owned by Activision, but they do Tony Hawk, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's here in
Activision
Chicago.
Blizzard.
Yeah.
They're a marketing machine. So I think when a game comes out that is Capcom, it'd have to be the same scenario where Activision would step in a little, but I think they'd have to be like, you guys know what you're doing with this. You know what the Japanese fans want. Your games sell big over there. You know how to make Monster Hunter. You know how to whatever. But when something's coming west, like the next Resident Evil or the next Devil May Cry, and you put that Activision marketing behind
Yeah.
it, I think that will work well. And it's also the best for fans. I know people hate on Activision a lot, but you have to give them credit. They don't release Battlefield 4 broken games. You know what I mean? Yeah, Call of Duty's the same game every year, but the shit works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I was just
sure they drive companies into the ground by over-releasing and oversaturating, but Activision does release good games, and they're a big, powerful company, and they can, I don't know, I think they can watch Capcom quite well.
I was just like, as one of those far-fetched. It's too bad that Sega and Namco couldn't partner together with Capcom.
Bandai Namco with Capcom with Sega.
Uh-huh.
That'd be crazy.
They would, and that would put them pretty high up there. Then,
Sega's a big player.
yeah,
People joke around about it. We do too. Sega's big. Just in that one PC game they have, that's a monster. Age of Empires or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they have
Company Heroes.
over in
Mhm.
the East, they do pinball machines and that other Plinko thing and poker machines, and that's where a ton of their money.
Yeah.
That's what Sammy is.
Sammy's over it.
Yeah.
And real quick, before I get off Activision, the last thing I wanted to bring up is this would benefit everybody. You don't want them to go to just Nintendo or just Microsoft or just Sony. This way, they stay third party. You will get Activision, Capcom games everywhere again,
So what you're
like
saying
you're
now
like
is
you
what's
have
gonna
been,
happen.
like you have been for your entire life. You'll get to play. You get to pick which console you want to play Resident Evil 7 on.
I do have one last company to bring up if no one else has anyone else.
Yeah, no,
But
go for it. No,
that
no,
would be
no.
Amazon. Amazon has been looking to break into worldwide market, trying to outdo what's the one that's bigger than eBay in Asia? Alibaba. Alibaba is like the biggest website in the world in terms of money making above Amazon. It'd be a great way of getting some games and probably all that other junk over to Asian market. So
Yeah, get your foothold in there because there's a
And-
lot of people over there with a lot of money.
they just started making they just released their phone this week. Amazon's got a phone coming. They have a console. They have anything you can possibly think of electronic. They're probably going to have over the course of the next 2 or 3 years, and it might be a really good option for them to go worldwide with making. Hey, the only way you can get the new Resident Evil, buy it off Amazon. Monster Hunter, same thing. Only way you can buy it off Amazon.
All right, let's wrap it up, gentlemen. Final thoughts.
Hopefully they don't go the route of THQ.
Yeah, I don't think they're there
I don't
yet.
think it's that dire.
Yeah.
I think it was just like, hey, our projections are a little low. Let's go ahead and open this up.
Anything on the whole subject at hand? Not really.
No.
For me, I hope they stay third party for the benefit of everyone. You don't want this to turn into you have to buy our console to play some of this stuff.
That'd be so much better.
But that I could see some benefits for some of the companies for that too. That it'll move hardware. I think it would further run Capcom into the ground. Like I was explaining with the Nintendo theory that 7 million wasn't enough for Resident Evil. You don't even have 7 million pieces of hardware. So, but it would help move some hardware. So, I could see pluses and minuses if somebody were to acquire it. Personally, I don't think Sony has the cash. I don't think Nintendo would risk it because they have more money than Sony, but they don't want to tap into what they have just on a whim. Microsoft has the money, but I don't know if they want it, to be honest. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I think eventually, if it keeps the same, I think it will turn into a THQ, break off the company to the most profitable, and then they'll have because THQ had like 3 or 4 actual auctions for all their IPs, and they just went on for months. So and then the big ones right away, and then from there it trickles down to who wants.
Little crap. Yeah.
Yeah, the little crap that we're just looking up on their A to D list, which is ridiculously long. I don't see any big company just outright buying them. I think it'd be broken up into pieces. I think that's kind of the way of if a big company goes, that's how it's going to fall.
Yep. Well said, sir. All right, this has been episode 124. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Catch us next week, same time, same place.